Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and welcome to a new kind of deck profile. So this is going to be the Jurrac deck profile for July of 2025, and I am so incredibly excited to be able to showcase to you all this wonderful, awesome deck that I built, that I was working on. This is going to be the pure variant. If you want to, there's other dinosaur channels that do more of like Jurrac Fiendsmith, Jurrac Ryugi, and more so on and so forth. But I wanted to go with more of a pure Jurrac build. And ironically, something that you may not know about me, that before I started playing Black Wings, I actually played dinosaurs. I played dinosaurs for a few years before I started playing Black Wings, back right when 5D started, and I actually had a Tyranno Infinity deck. That was my main deck for about a year or so, and then I moved on to Black Wings, and I haven't looked back since. But it kind of reminds me of like in an alternative reality, if Black Wings wasn't there, probably would have been playing dinosaurs. And I was so excited when they finally announced support for Jurracs, because Jurracs, let's face it, in the Tengu format are, it's not the best. Jurracs were kind of slow at the time, but this deck is awesome because this deck actually does a lot of like blowing up, so to speak. There's a lot of cards that blow up, and the first card you start with is going to be Jurrac Stego. This is the boss monster of the deck. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started onto the deck profile. And also, just to give you guys also a heads up, I will be doing a combo video that's going to be 2 different combo lines for the Jurracs. That so look forward to that. That will be released on a Friday, so I do plan on doing that. So here we go. So first off, you're going to copy 3 Jurrac Stego. This is the boss monster. This is the main start of the deck. So how Jurrac Stego works is this. Jurrac Stego, you tribute itself, and then you can you tribute itself, you send a dinosaur or dinosaur monster from the deck to the graveyard, and then you can special summon as many dinosaur type monsters that equal the level of the ones that you tributed. So generally what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending miscellaneous source or level 4, and you're going to be special summoning 4 level 1 dinosaur monsters to your side of the field to be able to go into the Asterio and Volupto and everything like that. But keep in mind, if you do play this, this does lock you into dinosaur type monsters, so you can only do this if you're willing to go that route. And then we're playing 3 copies of the new Megalo. Megalo is really cool. Megalo can actually you can actually discard this card along with 2 other cards to draw 2 cards. Also, this card is really good because you can special summon. You can actually use it to special summon. Also, if it gets destroyed, you can add a Jurrac monster with 1,500 less attack from your deck to your hand. Oh wait, no. If you control a dinosaur type monster, you can special summon this card from your hand during your main phase. You can discard 2 cards, including a Jurrac monster, and draw 2 cards. If this card is destroyed by battle, you can send a Jurrac monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard except for them. So that was my fault. I was actually thinking about another card. So essentially, this is what you're going to be able to use if you have this, to be able to dump Astero into your graveyard. And then when Astero's in your graveyard, you can activate Astero's effect to special summon a Jurrac Meteor from the extra deck, and that counts as a synchro summon. Also, the whole being able to draw is really beneficial. So definitely worthwhile. And then we're only playing 2 copies of the baby Jurrac Alu. You guys probably remember this from way back in the day. Jurrac Alu, you tribute this card to special summon a Jurrac level 4 lower Jurrac monster from your graveyard. So this is how you're going to loop back the Jurrac Stego. You're going to use this to tribute it, and then you're going to special summon Jurrac Stego, and then you're going to go into a level 5 with the other cards. And then that's going to be it for the Jurrac monsters. Now we're going to have the other dinosaur types. You're going to have 3 baby Ceratosaurus. This is, you use this, you destroy the baby, and you keep activating its effect over and over and over again, because it's not a once per turn, meaning that you can keep doing it as many times as you want, and to be able to, special summon those dinosaur type monsters from your deck, which is actually very helpful. And then we're playing 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. This card is really good as a good boss monster. If you wanted to have 3 Oviraptors and 2 of the or 1 of the Ultimate Conductors, I wouldn't blame you. The reason I'm only playing 2 is I'm not playing double evolution pill and an Adorn Archosaur or whatever in the deck, because I feel like they can be brick at times, and I have tested them with it and noticed that my hands weren't as optimal. That is completely up to you. I prefer to play these guys, 2 of these and 2 of the Oviraptors over it, just because of consistency. And then you've got 2 copies of the Oviraptor, Soul Eating Oviraptor. So Soul Eating Oviraptor, you tribute a dinosaur type monster on your field. You can actually add a dinosaur type monster with 1,500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, which actually does benefit you quite well. Oh, sorry. And normally what you're going to be doing is you're going to be searching for your baby Ceratosaurus, and that's going to allow you to go with your plays. It's going to be in a 2-card combo that I'm going to be showcasing you. And then we're going to have 1 copy of Xenometeorus. Xenometeorus is really good because if you destroy a dinosaur-type monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It is a tuner, it is level 6, and it's a good way to go into a Stero. Not much more than that. And then we're going to be using 1 copy of Miscellaneousaurus. I know a lot of the dinosaur players want this at 3. I can see that, but at the same time, this is kind of a cheap card because you discard it, and then the dinosaur-type monsters are unaffected by card effects. So yeah, it is cheap, but I can see why everybody wants that, at 3 because of that effect. But this is a really good card because you can actually tribute this to, sorry, I'd have to read this for a second. You can banish this card and any other dinosaur-type monsters to special summon a dinosaur-type monster from the deck that is equal to the level that you tribute, or equal to the number of cards, including himself. So this is a good way to get baby Ceratosaurus out if you tribute this alongside the other Jurrac monsters. And then I'm actually playing a tech card. I'm playing Kaitoptera. Kaitoptera is really good for searching polymerization. Why you want to search polymerization? Because Hornsaurus allows you to search for the field spell, which is a really good addition. You can actually search for that field spell, allowing you to go into other plays. Also, it is another body, and I'm going to be showcasing that. A lot of people don't play this. I actually like playing this at 1 because it is perfect at 1. And then that's going to be it for the dinosaur-type monsters. Let's move on to the spell and traps. First, Jurrac Volcano. This card is nuts. This card is crazy. Okay, so first off, to give you a heads up, this card, if you have it on the field, you can destroy a dinosaur-type monster to special summon a Jurrac monster from your extra deck, or from your deck. That is amazing. Also, if your opponent does control, if your opponent activates 4 or more monster effects, you can actually special summon a Jurrac Meteor from your extra deck, which is insane. I love that you can actually do that. Also, this card actually protects your Jurracs, because if your monster would be destroyed, your Jurrac monsters, you can actually, the once per turn, they are not destroyed. And this allows you to special summon Jurrac Meteor, which is just crazy. Jurrac Meteor, the theme of this deck is literally all about, like, basically multiple Nibiru's. You're going to be throwing different Nibiru's, not even necessarily the monster Nibiru, but you're going to be blowing up their board. And most players cannot play after 2 board wipes. But you're going to keep going, and that's the idea. The only thing is that this deck does lack is follow-up, so you want to make sure that you have ways to follow up. But I'm just showcasing the deck in the meantime. This is a really good card to have 3 of these. So yeah, I actually got these when they were cheap, about like $2. I don't know how much they are now. I know they went up in price. They were spiked. Another card that is spiked, but I actually did buy 3 of them. I bought the Japanese version of them. I'm still waiting on them. They should be here any day now. Is their proxies is Ground Xeno. I know this looks goofy because they're proxies, but it's Ground Xeno. So Ground Xeno is really good because it allows you to play a card, and then you send it, then you basically activate it, and that allows you to destroy a card in your hand. And then also it first adds the Xenometeorus from your deck to your hand, and then it destroys a card in your hand, and then that allows you to special summon Xenometeorus from your hand, and then from there you can kind of combo off. And yeah, so am gonna be getting these eventually when they go down in price, but I did get Japanese versions of them, proxies, so they are coming in the mail, just waiting on them. And then we got 3 fossil digs. You can add a level 6 or lower dinosaur type monster from your deck to your hand. This is kind of standard. It's Rhoda. And then you've got 1 polymerization. Poly is a really good card in here because you are playing Kaitoptera, or you are playing Hornsaurus. So this is a good card to actually use for that. That's what you're going to be targeting. Hornsaurus is really good because Hornsaurus will allow you to actually add a field spell from your deck, add it to your hand or whatever. It actually lets you use the field spell, so it's another way to search for it. And then you're going to be playing Jurrac Meteor. Some people don't play this. I do not know why anybody would not want to play this. This is a board wipe. If you control a dinosaur type monster with 25 or 100 more attack, destroy all cards on the field. Everything goes. So if you're combining this with Jurrac Meteor, with Jurrac Astero, with all those other cards, you're blowing up the field constantly, and they cannot get field presence at all. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main. Now we're going to go on to hand traps. We actually play 13 hand traps in here. This is a 40 card deck. If you want to, you can play more cards and allow you to have more hand traps. But I'm just showing you the basics right now. We're playing 3 Ash, 3 Effect Failure. Now keep in mind, these cards are completely random. You can choose whatever hand traps that you want that fit the format for you, or even what you have lying around. So you're going to have 3 of those. 3 Nibiru's, because honestly, this is probably one of the only times that I'm going to say this, but Nibiru actually belongs in this deck. That is the whole strategy behind this deck, is to keep blowing up your opponent's board, and Nibiru is perfect for that. And then you're going to be playing 3 Book of Eclipse. This actually works with your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Also, it's really good for protection because most people can't play when they use Special Summon card face down. And then you're playing Call by the Grave, which is a good one of in the deck. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main deck. And now let's move on to the extra deck. Alright, so obviously 3 copies of Jurrac Meteor. This is the new artwork. I actually like this over the original one. The original one kind of looked goofy because it was like this big dinosaur rocky ball thing, and I just didn't like it. I do like the artwork now because it actually looks like a Jurrac. But this card is, when this card is special synchro summoned, destroy all cards on the field. That's basically all it does. So if you have a Stero in the graveyard, you can actually banish a Stero to special summon this. If you have Jurrac Volcano, you can with 4 more effects, you can actually special summon this. So it does work quite well with the deck. And then you've got 3 copies of Jurrac Estero. Jurrac Estero is really good because this also allows you to search for a Jurrac spell and trap, meaning either Jurrac Impact or Jurrac Volcano. And also when this card is in the graveyard, you can banish this along with 2 other Jurrac monsters or 2 other dinosaur type monsters, and that allows you to special summon a Jurrac Meteor from your extra deck, and that counts as a synchro summon. So that is also really good. Also, this card has a built-in special summon negate, so this card is basically a built-in solemn strike or whatever. This actually negates special summoning of a monster, so that's really good as well. So it's got 3 basically effects in one. Really good card. And then we're only playing the one Jurrac Velveto, or I call him Velveto, which is just a synchro climb because it is a level 5. This is what you're going to go into Jurrac Estero. You're going to use this to go into it because it is a level 5. That is the only reason why it's in here. Plus, it is kind of cool because I actually do have a, I actually own it's my pet leopard gecko, and this actually looks just like her, so I actually thought that was kind of cool. Alright, so, and then that's going to be it for the synchro cards. Now we're going to move on to the other ones. We've got Evilzor Lagia and Evilzor Dolkia. This is going to be for protection, and one of the combos I am going to show you kind of how to play around if your opponent has Nibiru, or if they have anything else, and this will be a way to kind of protect you. Also, this gives you a Omni Negate, which is something that you do need in this deck. And then you're going to be playing 1 Hornsaurus. Hornsaurus allows you to search for the field spell, which is really good. That is definitely going to be something that you're going to want to do. And then I'm actually playing the Fire Package, which is Salomon Great, Raging Phoenix, the Promethean Princess, and then the Heat of the Farmer Charmer, because if they have Ash, this is a good way to actually synchro climb into Promethean Princess, and then allows you to go from there if you need to. And then for the other cards, we've got SP Little Knight and Relinquish Anima. These are fail-safes. You don't have to play these, but this is if you don't really have anything else. And you can also use this right before you activate the effect of Stego. So you can still have the SP Little Knight and still have Anima on the field. Like if you want, you could have like SP Little Knight plus the Estero and all that stuff, which does give you some protection, and it works really well. So, alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. Like I said, I will be doing a combo video for 2 combos to showcase how to play with the deck. This deck is just a lot of fun, and I am so glad that we finally, after years and years and years, got support for this deck. I mean, Jurracs were very underutilized, and in my opinion, it was very, it was about time that we finally got our own support for it, like more support for it, because the last support that came out for it literally was like over a decade ago. And it's just kind of sad because, like, this deck is a lot of fun, and it does a lot of stuff, and it's just fun to keep blowing up the opponent's field and blowing up your board to be able, and also for you to keep gaining it by special summoning Meteor or special summoning Estero. and it's just a lot of fun. And this deck is all about consistency. Consistency wise, I feel like this is more consistent than the double evolution pill and the one copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And but if you want to play that, that is definitely an option. You can totally do that. If you feel free, go for it. I always say to be creative and be yourself above all else. So if you feel like that's more comfortable for you, go for it. But in the meantime, I feel like this deck is a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that we actually have support, because to me, dinosaurs were always somewhat sluggish, even back in, you know, GX era and the DM era and all that stuff. So when they came out with Jurracs, I was incredibly happy, but I wasn't happy the fact that they weren't like as fast as they could be. But I'm really glad that we did get support for this. This is so cool. So, all right, that's going to be it for this profile. I know I rambled all long enough. Thank you guys always so much for watching my content. Always appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You guys rock. Thank you very much. And with that, see you guys next time. Later.